Hey everyone, I just wanted to show you how big this solo campaign is. I mean, it's 140 cards of stories and branching storylines, but more importantly, I wanted to show you these status cards. Very shortly, they're a new introduction to the solo campaign, and some of them might be positive, like draw, or being vicious, or being a superstar. Obviously, these are prototypes, excuse me. And some of them might be negative, like there's promotional anger. You know, the booker is mad at you, or you have grit is positive. Lost confidence, exhausted, embarrassed. And these sometimes have one-time abilities, sometimes they're permanent abilities. And what's so cool about them is there are two levels. So they're double-faced. So for example, imagine you become a draw, right? So if you are a draw, every match you start the match with +4 momentum. Amazing ability, right? If you end the match with 5 momentum, or you are prompted to draw again, flip this card. And so if you're able to end the match with +5 momentum, whether you win or lose, you're considered a draw, and you basically go from being a draw to a main eventer. And you still start the match with +4 momentum, but what this will do is all your matches will become main event matches, which will give you extra VP. And you'll notice there's at the bottom, if you end the match with less than 2 momentum, discard this card. In this case, if you're a main eventer and you end the match with less than 3 momentum, you flip this card back to being a draw. So, you know, there are abilities that can help you, but you can easily lose them if you don't satisfy these conditions, and they add a lot to the replayability of your matches. And again, you have things like lost confidence. This is a bad thing. You start the match with 2 less attack cards in your hand. If you lose or you're prompted to draw lost confidence again, you flip this card. Now, instead of having some lost confidence, you have high doubts about yourself, and your entire hand size is reduced by 1, and you only get over it. You'll go back to having lost confidence only if you win a match. Obviously, if you win a match again, you'll get rid of it. So some of these are positive, some of them are negative, but it really adds kind of like in-match objectives. And they make the game so interesting, because you're not just thinking about achieving the objectives of the match, but how do you either take advantage of these status cards, or how do you kind of get rid of them. Like this one, exhausted. Start the match with -4 stamina. If you end the match with 5 or less stamina, or you're prompted to draw exhausted again, flip this card. And then now you become wiped and you're even more tired. And obviously some of the stats, as you see, I've made some changes to, so don't take them for granted, but that's the idea, these in-game objectives that really impact you. And the extra layer of this is some of your campaign objective cards, which I'll show you in a second, require you to draw some of these cards. So like some of the campaign objective cards will say you have to become a superstar or the greatest of all time to be able to win your objective. Hey guys, it's me again, and one of the new things we're introducing in this campaign is now you have objectives for the campaign, and you pick one at the beginning. Some have to do with baby faces, so if you pick one of these objectives, you have to start the match or the campaign as a baby face, excuse me. Some are related to you being a heel, while others, you know, are basically agnostic. You can pick them as a baby face or a heel. And you know, once you've made your choice, let's assume you've picked a baby face objective, right? Obviously, I have my notes here. Please ignore this text, but it's just about to show you like what you need to do, and the anatomy of the card is this explains what, you know, the thematic objective. So the bottom right will show you the difficulty of that objective, and then here it'll tell you what you need to do. So here you have to get 2 skill upgrades, so that means about 16 skill tokens, or 1 skill upgrade, which is, you know, worth 8 skill tokens, and reach the final space on the face track, right? Since you're a baby face. I'll give you another example, maybe something also easy. Here you have to achieve all 4 objectives. You have to gain 30 victory points. You have to win at least 1 match at hard difficulty with an injury. You have to attain at least 2 successes when testing your charisma attribute, and you have to reach the final space on the babyface track, for example. Another one here is you earn 35 victory points, and in chapter 2, do not lose a match against a WoW competitor. And you have to, and the cool thing here is if you do, what happens? Well, if you do, you change your objective to you must earn 45 VP this campaign, which is quite difficult. And you'll notice like this one's a medium difficulty. And in this case, you gotta win 2 matches while you're injured, and you have to win 5 matches at hard difficulty. And I think I added another objective here. So, you know, like that's the cool thing about these is at the end of the campaign, you're actually working not just towards victory points, but to achieve something. Here's another objective that I really like. You must steal the show in 5 of your matches. And this your objective is a show stealer. Titles, money, that all sounds terrific, but you want nothing more than stealing the show every single night. So this is very Shawn Michael-y, or, you know, the other people who really care about putting on the best performance. And basically your entire element is how do you steal the show in 5 of your matches during the campaign. In order to steal the show, you have to satisfy 2 out of these 3 objectives. So you either successfully execute 2 signature moves and then win using your finisher, or you win the match with unstoppable momentum. And the third objective is if the player or opponent have low health and kick out during their last kick out attempt. You know, it adds a lot of drama to the match. And you got to do 2 in a single match to be able to earn 1 token. You add a token here, and once you've achieved all 5, you'd win this campaign. And obviously this is an easy kind of objective. A more difficult one, for example, is undefeated. Undefeated, 171-0. Why not 300-0? Can you imagine the legacy you'd leave behind? And here, you can't lose any matches, but if you do, you have to earn 60 VP to win the campaign. So I think that also adds a lot in addition to the status cards that I showed you to the campaign, because you're working towards something. Like there are stuff that are quite unique. For example, here, for example, this is what I was talking about. You got to win the world title. You got to gain a bunch of status cards, and you have to take part in at least 2 main events. So, and this is you trying to be as wealthy as possible and gather as much money as possible as a heel, as an example.